Hitting the big stick can be one of the most difficult clubs in the bag, but if you know all the components on how to get set up properly with the driver, you'll be sure to hit more fairways. So stay tuned in this video so that you can learn all the variables about how to hit your driver as straight as you can. My name is Dr. Allison Kurt, and I'm here to help you hit the driver better. So let's start off with a couple of pre-motion things that can help us just get set up to hit great shots. Number one, when knowing how to hit the driver, we first need to understand where our area of teeing up can be. So as I have tee markers, we're not allowed to hit in front of the tee markers, but you can hit up to 2 club lengths behind the tee marker. So as I draw a line between these 2 markers, putting a golf club down, that would count as 1 club length, and then I could lay it down and have 2 club lengths. So I get this whole box between the markers up to 2 club lengths back where I could tee up my golf ball. The reason why that's important is because the grass may not always be really flat or pristine for you to tee up your shot. So make sure that you're trying to find a pretty flat area between the markers that allow you to have a great stance. The next thing we want to talk about is tee height. If you're teeing your golf ball up way too high, where the entire golf ball is above the height of the club, that could increase chances of skying it or making the ball pop up in the sky. So what I want you to do is tee it down where half of the golf ball is above the top of the club. Now, the top of the club is called the crown, and so when I use the middle of the golf ball, which would be the center equator, and line it up to the top of the crown, I then have 1/2 of the ball higher than the top of the driver. That would be a great starting place, which would be standard for teeing up your drive. So as the club goes down right behind the ball, about 1/2 of the ball is higher than the driver. You can also tee it a little bit lower than that. You might lose some distance, but it can improve accuracy. So we have some variables on how high to tee it based on if it's downwind. I may choose to tee it just 1/4 of an inch higher to let it stay in the air longer. If I'm going into the wind, I may choose to tee it a little bit lower so that the ball doesn't get caught up in the wind and I could gain some control that way. For a standard stock shot, we will have 1/2 of the golf ball above the top of the driver. In terms of our setup, we're striving to get the ball position around our lead heel. So there is a range that you could tee it up, and if you were to put 1 club length inside your lead heel, try to tee the golf ball from that area up into the front toe. The farther forward you tee it, it gives you more opportunity to close the face. The farther back you tee it, your face may remain a little open. You may come down a little steep into the golf ball, but it's all about how you match up to your body. So a great starting point is to place it inside the lead heel. And as we get our body aligned with the lead side, my lead arm and the golf club will pretty much feel like it's one plane or one line. We want to avoid having extension in the lead wrist where the shaft is tilted back, or excessively pushing the grip forward where I now have to adjust my body and tilt my shoulders in order to get my trail hand on the club. So if I lay the club neutrally on the ground where the shaft is vertical and perpendicular to the ground, I can place my hand on the club, starting with my feet together. This feels very organic for me, where it's not tilted back or not tilted forward too much. And then I can just separate my trail foot back, and now the golf ball is lined up fairly close to my lead heel. As my lead hand is on the grip, I now have this really nice line setting up to the driver. The last thing we want to add is our right hand, where I'm going to feel just a little tilt in my shoulders. So notice how I'm taking my trail hand, sliding it down my thigh. That starts to tilt my hips a bit and my shoulders, and I can now adjust my hand onto the driver without adjusting my shoulders and taking them off plane. This is really important to add tilt because it will allow the driver to sweep up through the ball to launch it in the air. We do not want to try to hit our driver head first and steep because that pops it up into the air. When I add this secondary tilt from my spine here, it allows the club to bottom out early, not touching the ground, but just hit its low point early and then start to move up through the golf ball to connect with it. So to summarize, our key features for setting up with driver is to make sure that we're the appropriate spot on the tee box. That's number one. Now we want to be able to have the proper tee height. Make sure it's not too high, not too low, just right for us. Then we want to have the proper ball position inside the lead heel, having our hand on the grip and the club shaft very perpendicular to the ground. Then we're going to add our tilt. Once we have our tilt, we are now ready to hit our drive. So see if you can add these components into your driver setup to ensure that you're hitting more fairways. For more great tips like this, make sure that you like and subscribe so that you can see all the new videos and information that I share on this channel.